Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about Season 6 of Game of Thrones. Before we get started, I need to give you four things about this video. 4 confessions. 1, there are going to be spoilers in this video. This is not so much of a review, it's more of a discussion about Season 6 of Game of Thrones. So if you haven't watched the season all the way through, including the finale, stop now. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Confession number 2, I may have had a few drinks. And when I say maybe, I definitely had a few drinks. And confession number 3 is I don't remember what confession number 4 was. So last night I watched the finale of Season 6 of Game of Thrones, and this was a very different season for me. If you remember a while back ago for Season 5, I made a video that had a bit of an unpopular opinion that was, I didn't like it. Not Season 5 of Game of Thrones specifically, although I do think that was not a very good season at all, but more of Game of Thrones up until that point, because I felt that the show sort of got to this situation where it was too event-driven for me to actually enjoy. And what I mean by that is that I couldn't really get excited about anything that happened. If a character died, or if like a major thing happened, I just felt like, yeah, this is what this show does. I can't really be surprised when an important character dies because that's just what Game of Thrones does. And because of that, I felt that the show has become a little bit boring for me to watch because I couldn't really get excited about anything that happened, and I didn't feel like the story itself was enough to kind of keep me engaged. Season 6, though, man. So first of all, to try and answer the question, is this the best season of Game of Thrones? I don't really know because I can't say that I fully remember every aspect of Season 2 or Season 3, which I remember as like generally good seasons that still had me engaged with the show. But as of right now, as of kind of watching the finale and still riding that high of all the events of the finale, yes, I think this is the best season of Game of Thrones, at least since Season 1. And Episode 9 and Episode 10 were so good! I did have some issues with this season, but that's not really what this video is about. But it was definitely not a consistently exciting season. It had a few episodes in the middle there where it's just kind of like, let's get something going. But really, the 2 last episodes of this season somehow made everything better. Because in previous seasons of Game of Thrones, what happened is that even after the finale, nothing got like very satisfyingly, is that like an adjective I can use? Nothing got like very satisfyingly resolved. It just felt like, okay, we're moving the pieces again to set up the next season. And that's definitely what's going on in this finale as well, but it still kind of brought together all the different storylines in a way that was satisfying to me. Jaime Lannister, I think, was the most interesting character of this season for me, because his character is constantly walking this fine line between being a bad guy and kind of being a bad guy who's trying to be a good guy. You can kind of see it in the things that he says and the things that he does. And that moment in the tent with Edmure, where Edmure is tied to the post and Jaime is talking to him, Edmure is just like, dude, I don't care about this. And Jaime is just like, well, you're my prisoner, so I'm gonna tell you anyway. That conversation in the tent was such an important moment for Jaime Lannister, because the whole speech that he gives Edmure about, I will do anything to get back with Cersei. I will do anything. I will take a baby and I will catapult that baby into the castle. That for me was kind of Jaime going back over that edge into bad guy territory. And I love that about his character in this season. He is like genuinely trying, or maybe not trying, but he wants to be better. But like at his core, there's simply nothing he wouldn't do for Cersei, who is just like pretty much pure evil. So maybe that sort of pulls him in that darker direction or weighs down on him. A fan favorite we obviously have to talk about is Arya. And I have to say, while I do love her character, and her character is a lot of fun, and Maisie Williams just does a fantastic job generally, I wasn't a huge fan of her story arc in this season up until its later stages. So I get what's going on with the character. She's at a very dark place, and the whole faceless god thing offers her some sort of escape. Like she's she's hit rock bottom, basically. She is ready to just become no one because she lost so much of who she is. And then she goes through this whole process of actually finding herself again until the end of the show, where she basically, I am Arya Stark. I am from Winterfell. This is who I am. I'm going to murder the shit out of everybody. And then we kind of get back the Arya Stark that we know and love, who is also now basically Daredevil, but Daredevil that can see. Sorry, this is this is pizza from yesterday. It's cold, but Hawaiian pizza! Sitting on the floor, talking about TV, eating pizza, what can I say? My life isn't bad. What do you think about this Olin Rogers shirt I got at VidCon? But anyway, the issue that I had with Arya's kind of storyline in this season was that it went like this. It started out really exciting, and then it sort of hit this plateau, and for the majority of the season, it was kind of boring. I mean, I was watching this entire season with my wife, and I remember us constantly talking about kind of like, okay, we get the process that this character has been through, we're ready for her to do the next thing. But also just reminding us how everything else in the show went down up until this point through those plays that Arya was watching with that actress. Brilliant. Something else that this season did that I was just not expecting was also take characters that were never favorites of mine, characters that I really never felt anything towards, and just like either make them badass or just kind of turn it around. You know what I mean. And for me, those characters were Jon Snow and Sansa Stark. I'm not going to talk about absolutely everything because you've seen the season, you know what happens. But for example, in the finale, when Sansa basically feeds Ramsay Bolton to the dogs. So it was kind of obvious that something like that is going to happen, that he is going to die horribly. So it wasn't so much about how the scene itself played out, but it was the story that the season told us up until that point made that scene have a huge impact. Which is actually very similar to the argument that I have on why Jack Bauer should have died, but that is like another video. Okay, so there is a dragon in the room. Let's talk about Dany. Daenerys Stormborn, the breaker of chains. I found her throughout the entire show, and also still in the season, as really a kind of uninteresting character. The difference between season kind of 1 through 5 and season 6 is that here I found the story around her interesting. I still think that she is an uninteresting character. I don't really care for her. And some of the reasons for kind of me feeling that she is not a very interesting character is that her story kind of never changes. It never advances. It always, she's coming to Westeros, she's gonna do this, but she never does the thing that the story requires her to do. Which can be said for lots of other characters in the show as well, but those other characters do interesting things while they're not doing the thing that they're so. Am I making sense at all? But in this season, her story was kind of augmented by other characters, namely Tyrion and Varys. So while I don't necessarily think that it was worth the wait of kind of, you know, a million seasons of kind of just waiting for her to cross the narrow sea and go to Westeros finally, it was very satisfying in the finale when it finally happened, along with all those other characters from the north saying, winter has come. Once again, this finale essentially just sets the stage for the next season, but it sets the stage for the war that we've been waiting for. And Arya fucking took a name off the list. I mean, the finale was just really scene by scene. Here, you wanted this, take it. You wanted this, take it. Like, how does that feel? Does that feel good? We know it feels good. That probably sounded way dirtier than I meant it to be. So first of all, I want to apologize. I don't know if I've been making sense at all. I just really turned on the camera and started talking, which I don't usually do. I usually have like a script or a general guideline of what I'm about to say. But, I mean, the bottom line is that this season, for me, kind of brought back the show. It brought back my interest and my engagement in this show and in the story and in the characters, and I'm grateful for it. And now I'm actually excited for the next season, because after season 2 of Game of Thrones, or season 3 maybe, I mean, I was just like, I'll watch Game of Thrones, obviously, everyone watches Game of Thrones, but I wasn't excited. I wasn't, just waiting in expectation for the next season, which I am now, thinking about it, that kind of sucks because we have about a year to go. Let me know what you thought about this season. Pick a character, pick a storyline from this season, and explain what you thought about it. What did you like about it? What was kind of the main thing for you? I love you all very much. If this is the first time you're finding Binge Watchers, I invite you to join the Binge Watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. I am usually sober when we do this. Consider subscribing to the channel. Yeah, keep binging. I will see you next time. And Soma Pizza, San Francisco. So it's really good.